From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Daniels Roofing, licensed, bonded, insured roofing contractor. 45 years of generational expertise, offering a variety of roofing systems in the North State. Composition shingles, metal, tile, fire-safe wood shingles, and spray foam roofing systems. An energy-saving cool roof, perfect for commercial flat roofs and mobile homes. With other companies, you may get a foreman or a salesman. But with Daniels Roofing, you get Daniel. Call today for your free estimate. Daniels Roofing, 3 generations working hard to protect your home and business.
Happy Friday evening to you. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Krueger, getting ready to get into the weekend here, and we've got some good weather if you have any outdoor plans, maybe go for a hike, a bike ride, lots of great recreational opportunities out there. Here is your Krueger's Quickcast for your Friday, January 16th. Now tonight, maybe you're out and about, you're going to be hitting the town, having a good old time. Looks like it's going to be fairly mild out there. It cools off pretty quickly once the sun sets, but you can see in the low 40s eventually by early tomorrow morning for the valley. There's going to be some patchy fog, by the way, in the valley. More fog for places like, the valleys of Trinity County, Scott Valley, right? And even some fog, most likely even along parts of the coast as well. But otherwise, it's going to get cold for some of those higher elevations. Now, tomorrow morning, maybe you're going for a walk or a jog or taking the dog out for a walk. Cold in the mountains as you'd expect, but looks like somewhere in the low 40s for those morning lows, at least for 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, we still have that high pressure in place, and that's really been that dominant feature here for the last few days, but it is showing signs of getting weaker and dying down. But overall, as we go into your Saturday, looks like a nice day. Temperatures mid to upper 60s for the valley, 50s and 60s for the higher elevations, and low 60s for your daytime highs for the coast. So looking at your 7-day forecast, we are seeing an eventual drop in those temperatures, but we're going to start to see some of those changes by the middle and latter part of next week for the valley and really across the board for the coast, for the mountain areas as well. And as of right now, I'm not putting any rain in the forecast. Some of the longer range forecast models want to maybe bring in a little bit of rain by Thursday for parts of the coast and some of the higher elevations, but for now, there's not a lot of consistency in that overall solution, and I'm just not comfortable putting that in there just yet. But do note that it's on the radar, and we'll be watching that here very closely. But bottom line, I'm just not seeing much rain anytime soon. And you can see here, looking at our weather headlines, we're going to continue with that mountain valley fog and some of those typical spots that we've seen this week, but also some patchy fog in parts of the valley. Highs will stay above normal for most of us through at least the middle of next week, with high pressure breaking down next week. And that is a sign of some changes, but it looks like high pressure is going to try to rebuild again toward the end of next week. Temperature's not as warm, but it's still there. And really, the best chance I'm seeing for rain at this point, just looking down the line, maybe toward the end of the month. But even that's not promising, right? We can't guarantee that just yet. So let's talk about that here in our Deeper Dive forecast, which is sponsored by Shasta Hearing Aids.
Hearing isn't just about sound, it's about being part of every moment. This isn't your grandparents' hearing aid, it's a smart hearing aid for modern life. It's Bluetooth enabled, easy to control from your phone with your personal prescription, delivering the clarity you need. All that technology at half the cost of competitors, so you never miss a moment worth hearing. With our Here For You program, you get personal care and support every step of the way. This is what quality care sounds like.
So here we are again, once again, talking about the ridge of high pressure, that dominant ridge right here, very strong ridge of high pressure that we have here. And that's been building over the last several days, fairly strong yesterday, fairly strong again today, but it is showing signs of getting weaker. Let's talk about that here, as you can see, as we go through the weekend, even into early next week. Now, we still have a ridge of high pressure, right, that you can see right here, but it's getting weaker and weaker as we go into Monday, Tuesday of next week. Now, it was looking like that this was going to break off and then kind of come down to the south, but now the latest models want to just give us a weak disturbance that may push through on Thursday. You see that right here? Now, this may be just strong enough to bring and have just enough moisture to work with that there may be a stray light shower or sprinkles for parts along the coast, some of the higher elevations. But really the main impact is going to be that cooler air moving in. And then look at this. Toward the end of next week, we've got another ridge of high pressure, week one, that looks to try to build in here, and that is what's going to give us continued fairly warm temperatures here as we take you into the long range. Now, again, we were talking about that slight chance for showers here for some areas on Thursday, but overall, there's just not a lot of moisture to work with. These brown colors indicating that very dry air. Now, what you'll notice is a little surge that kind of comes on in here. You see the blues and some of the greens that are working their way in here. That may be just enough moisture to squeeze out a few light showers here with that disturbance passing through on Thursday. But then as that high pressure builds back in, look what happens. Look how dry it gets again toward the end of next week and into the weekend. So again, not a lot of moisture to work with at this point here when we kind of go toward the end of next week. Now, looking at the visibility, we're still seeing that fog developing, especially for, say, Sacramento southward into the San Joaquin Valley. Some of that is trying to creep its way northward into Glenn and Butte counties. Still the potential for some of that patchy fog for everyone in the valley over the next several mornings here. There's Saturday night. Again, that fog trying to redevelop. In fact, it looks like it gets a little bit farther to the north into places like Tehama County. So we still can't rule out some of that fog in the valley here over the weekend. But the overall trend is, as you can see here, it's dropping, but we're still above normal, most likely through at least the middle of next week. And then temperatures start to drop closer to normal by the time we get to the end of next week and into that next weekend. Now, many times this time of the year, when we start to see these drastic or bigger drops in the temperatures, it's also a sign that, yeah, we could be looking at some rain. But as you saw, and as I mentioned, we just don't have a lot of moisture to work with at this point, and that's why we're not seeing much rain or even snow in the mountains for that matter. Now, the wave heights are dropping as we go into Saturday, and it looks like they'll stay fairly low here as we take you into your Sunday as well. So here is your neighborhood forecast, sponsored in part by Dignity Health. We're going to be looking at those temperatures in the upper 50s to low 60s for your Saturday. So, yeah, just a gorgeous weekend, but you see there is that drop in those temperatures by Thursday and Friday. Now, maybe your native app on your phone may show a chance for showers next Thursday and maybe even Friday, but again, I just can't put that in there just yet in good conscience because it just is not a very accurate, or should I say consistent solution that we're seeing in the long-range forecast models. Low 60s along the coast here for your Saturday. Siskiyou County, yep, Fort Jones, Etna, you're going to see more of that fog tomorrow morning, and that could persist into the afternoon. Otherwise, you're looking at those temperatures mid to upper 50s elsewhere. Now, Modoc County, you've got temperatures mainly in the 50s. Some of the cooler spots will be Canby and Cedarville for your Saturday with a high of about 48 degrees. All right, let's take a look at the eastern mountains. Anywhere from the 40s to even 60s for your daytime highs. 64 for Paradise. Shingletown, 3,500 feet. Shingletown proper, 65. 50 degrees in Susanville and Janesville, one of the cooler spots at about 46 degrees. Now for the valley to the south, you're looking at temperatures in the mid 60s, right? About 65 degrees for Los Molinos, Hamilton City, 64 in Chico, about 64 degrees. Looking at your 7-day forecast for Chico, yeah, temperatures dropping a bit, but we're still in the upper 50s for Wednesday and Thursday. Now up to the north, about 66 degrees for Redding. Still a bit of that temperature inversion, right? That's why we're seeing the temperatures a little bit warmer as you head up just a little bit higher in elevation. Now looking at that 7-day forecast for Redding, you can see temperatures dropping a bit here, but still in the mid to upper 60s at least through Tuesday, back down to about 60 by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All right, that is your evening update. I will be back again next week. Of course, meteorologist Chase Wilson will be here for you, giving you the update throughout the weekend. Until then, have yourselves a great night and a great weekend.
When you see flashing lights, someone's life depends on us.
And while we're out helping crash victims, we need your help to keep us safe. Move over, slow down, it's the law, it protects everyone.
Our crews are out here every day, keeping the roads safe for you and your family.
We're often the last ones on scene, and we want to make it home safe too.
Protect those who protect you, slow down and move over.